to the Sports on Prime. I'm Gary L. Smith, and we begin with the news that the CAF president has been speaking. I told you yesterday that he is in town and he's been making some speeches ahead of the CAF executive meeting tomorrow. He says the body won't prevent regional associations from organizing tournaments. Now, his comments come on the back of the fact that the West African Football Union Cup of Nations has been seen as a huge success already, even before the final on Sunday, the third place match also on Sunday. However, some have noted that regional competitions like the WAFU Cup, also like its East African corollary, the Sekafa Cup, and its Southern African version, the COSAFA Cup, all threaten the bigger African Cup of Nations brand. Ahmad does not agree.
Last time, it's not difficult to mix that, but nowadays we don't block any zone to work together, to organize a competition together, but we push them to have a relationship. And now it's a good thing. They respect the statutes because it's separate, the two zones. But for the competition, they go together. We appreciate it and we motivate them to go for this. That's a good thing. It has been a long time there is no competition. But now there is competition and 16 countries to do that. What kind of initiative ahead of football in Africa need that? We approve it.
The head of African football is in Ghana for a 4-day visit that includes, of course, the CAF Executive Committee meeting, and also he'll be witnessing the WAFU Cup of Nations final. But he took some time off to do some humanitarian stuff. Here is a report by Joy Sports Benedict Owusu.
The Confederation of African Football President Dr. Ahmad was happy to meet two young students of the Ghana International School on Friday morning here in Accra. Eko Intim and his younger brother Kwabna Intim for some time now have been donating shoes and books to less privileged kids who are into football. The two brothers started off by donating their own shoes, and their philanthropic gesture have been noted, hence a visit by the CAF President Ahmad and some other executives of the Federation to encourage and offer more support to them.
You know that an exceptional initiative for this level of age of people. Even a big person not have this action, don't do this action. But it's very impressive for us. And if everybody, imagine it's only in one school, imagine in all the country, all the school, all the continent of Africa, we find two people like that. Imagine the development of football in our continent. That's why we are very recognized for this football.
Dr. Ahmad, who is in Ghana on a 4-day working visit, presented CAF souvenirs, footballs, and promised to fly the two young men to the head office of CAF in Cairo, Egypt, to familiarize themselves with the activities of the Federation. Kwabna Intim, a Form 1 pupil at GIS, noted that they've been able to donate a lot of boots since they started this initiative.
A lot of boots have been donated, and we've been surprised at the number of boots that have been donated, and we just can't believe it.
And today, obviously, the visit by the CAF president and also the other members and the gifts that they've given and the promise made to you that you take you guys to Cairo means a lot.
It means a lot to think that people are actually looking at what we're doing, and I hope that what we're doing makes other people do it too. And not just football boots, any other things people need, school shoes, books, pens, anything people don't have that you have. I think people should start donating.
More news here on the Sports on Prime. We move on to some foreign stuff, and who's going to win the Premier League season? Two teams, notably from Manchester, seem to be the most potent. That's according to Terry Butcher, Premier League pundit and former footballer. He says that Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola are going head-to-head, and either of them is going to win the title in May.
Manchester City are very strong in Europe. The thing is, last year Chelsea won the title because, and one of the main reasons was they weren't playing in Europe, but now they are playing in Europe, so I think that will hurt them, and I just see Manchester City and Manchester United being the two front runners for the title this year, and not Arsenal. Spurs maybe, Liverpool no, so Everton no, so really a two-horse race in Manchester, so we'll see, but I hope in a way it's good because it's one of the best Premier League so far because it's pretty wide open.
So Terry Butcher is in Ghana for some humanitarian work. So let's see what the Premier League fixtures look like this weekend. See where Man United and Man City will be able to cement their dominance on the league. Where are they? You can find Manchester City playing on Saturday against Crystal Palace, and Man United will be away at Southampton. Those will be two games you should be looking out for. West Ham and Tottenham, however, start the early kickoff. Southampton United. Stoke versus Chelsea should be one we should be paying attention to. And Everton have the chance to finally get some 3 points against Bournemouth. Burnley versus Huddersfield should tickle our fancy, a battle of 6th and 7th. And Swansea versus Watford has Ghanaian interest. Leicester City have already beaten Liverpool in midweek in the EFL Cup. Can they do a double against the Coppites in the same venue at the home of the Foxes? Brighton versus Newcastle will also see Christian Atsu in action, while Arsenal versus West Brom gives the Gunners an opportunity to improve their recent form. In Spain, we see highlights of how impressive Espanyol held Villarreal to a goalless draw at the Ceramica. However, Madrid versus Sevilla is the one we should be Atletico Madrid versus Sevilla is the one we should be paying attention to. And where Atletico Madrid are concerned, obviously, you might have heard the news that Diego Costa has signed a 60 million deal thereabouts from Chelsea because, I mean, he didn't want to play, but he can only begin playing for the Red and Whites in January when their transfer ban is lifted. Alaves versus Real Madrid is also interesting because Anzo Zidane, the son of Zinedine, plays for Alaves and he might face his father tomorrow. Malaga versus Atletico Bilbao, Girona, Barcelona. Barcelona in a 7 points lead at the top ahead of Real, and they may be able to extend it. Espanyol, Depor, Getafe, Villarreal, Eibar, Celta Vigo, Las Palmas, Leganes, Real Sociedad, Valencia, and Real Betis, Levante. So those are the fixtures for La Liga. Get the previews and reviews on myjoyonline.com. We finished though with boxing. One of the best boxers of the last 2 decades in any category is Andre Ward. He was just reaching his prime, but surprisingly, he says that his body cannot take the rigors of the sport anymore. And the light heavyweight boxer has put off his career. He's hung his gloves, and he says that is the end of it. Big, big loss for the sport. That is the sport for now. I'm Gary Al Smith. I'll be back at 10:30 for the week's final edition of the Football Show. Today will be very heavy on your phone calls as we preview the Premier League, preview La Liga, and also take a sneak peek at Ghana versus Nigeria in the Wafu Cup of Nations final on Sunday.